Well, look at that, everybody. We are live. Hello, welcome to the March 2023 live stream. We've got our first viewer. Perfect. All right. I have taken about a year off from doing these things. Lots of really cool stuff happening um, with me since the last time we did it. Um, I think the last show we did, I had just gotten married. So since then, we've been happily married over a year now. We've moved. I used to be in Thompson, Manitoba. Now here in Barrie, Ontario. It's super cool to be here, and still making music. It was sitting on the back burner for a little bit, but everything is very slowly coming together. So that is super awesome. All right. Feel free to hop in the chat and do whatever the hell you want to do. Unless you're one of those spam bots that post porn links, in which case my DMs are open. Okay, so this month we've got a really special guest, and I'm super proud to be introducing this guy. But before we get into that, there was a little bit of confusion maybe as we kind of relaunch these shows. Um, so what really ended up happening was, I had wanted to relaunch these shows for a little while, and I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to do that. And then finally, once we kind of got a little bit settled, I said, whatever, you know what, we're doing it. That is just, out of the question to not. So I found an artist out of Denver, Colorado, who goes by the title Surrender the Tides, and we had a date worked out. And then I announced that date, and then my wife promptly let me know that we actually had an obligation that date. So then I pushed it back a week, and we were all good with that. And then Surrender the Tides actually, due to scheduling conflict, had to back out, and they are rebooked for April. So our April artist was gracious enough to join us a few days early, which is super awesome, and really glad that he did. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the man of the hour. Hello.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going, my friend?
Pretty good, pretty good. Congrats. Can't remember if I did say congratulations on your wedding on Instagram, but not in person. So congratulations. How long has it been now?
Thank Thank you very much. It's been just over a year. We celebrated a year back on the 13th. Yeah.
Awesome. What does Mrs. think about you flying around and being a musician?
She thinks it's pretty fly. uh,
You chose the right gal then.
oh man. Yeah, she thinks it's pretty cool, honestly. It was kind of fun. We had been friends for years and years, and we sort of reconnected over COVID. And one of the things that we sort of reconnected with was I was doing these live streams at the time. It was called Lockdown Live. I was doing it every Saturday night on Facebook because the whole world, of course, was not allowed to leave their house. So we sort of, we were talking a lot, but, when we fell back in touch, I was, doing a lot of the lockdown streams, and she was super supportive of that. And it was really cool.
Does she come to the gigs? That's the question.
Yes, she does wear earplugs though. So she says it's a volume thing. I don't know. Maybe it's a me thing. I don't really know. But she comes to the gigs.
Fantastic.
Right on. Let's say hello to folks that we have here. So far, all the comments that I'm seeing are on YouTube. So I hope that Zuckerberg and the metaverse are, you know, doing a good job and not doing me dirty today. Because on the April live stream last year, the last one I did, Zuck did me dirty and wouldn't let me live stream. There was some sort of stupid technical issue. So we'll see. Hello. Hetriani's in the chat. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Oh yeah, right
Hey, brother.
on. Everybody's saying hey. Everybody's showing the love. Right on, right on. Okay, well, super cool. So I
Well,
actually,
what again?
yeah, let's see. I do all this on my phone, so I get a little tiny screen to look at.
I'm a terrible
To
multitasker. I've got two screens on, and I just it's a skill that I just don't have.
Oh man, well, if you can work two screens, you're doing twice as well as me, because I
Hey,
am not at
Elena.
all able to do that. Hello, hello, everybody. Right on. Okay, well, yeah, like I said, I don't have any Facebook stuff yet. Not seeing any Facebook comments, but whatever. We'll just hope that it's working there, and if not, well, Zuck, um, you can call me later, and I'll have some choice words for you. How's that? Um, All right. So, one of the things that we do, assuming this is actually going live on Facebook, it says it is. Okay, so if you're watching on Facebook, if you share this video, and you have to make sure that your privacy settings are set to public, but if you share this video, then you have entered yourself to the share contest. And I'll just talk about that real quick. The share contest, basically what that is if you have the most engaging share on Facebook, be it comments, likes, other shares, whatever it is, then you actually get to mandate a cover song that I have to play on the next month's show. I get absolutely zero veto power. We were doing this a couple of years ago with the shows, and I let's just say I've got some very sadistic friends, and I had to do some very embarrassing songs. It was absolutely hilarious. Um,
Such
so,
as
oh God, let's see. Drop them out, let me see them titties. You know that song. Oh, what else was there? There's a Pussycat song. Oh, there were a few good ones. The birthday song.
no Spice Girls.
No Spice Girls. But go share this on Facebook, and you know what? You might be making me do that actually. So we got that out of the way. I'm drinking water. I'm feeling good. How are you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm okay now. Last week I had the COVID, and for the second time, so I was pretty knocked out. But I'm fine. I'm good now. Just if I cough, I've got the mute button there, so I'm all set.
Yeah, here I'll test my
No
mute
water
button
as
real
well.
quick. I'll test my mute button. So you can hear me now. Did I go away?
No, you're there. Oh, were you trying to mute yourself?
Uh, well, see, it's a condenser mic, so I thought if I just kill the 48-volt button, that might be enough to just drop it. That's okay. I've got a button there, so it's all good. Okay, well, everybody who's watching seems to be doing so on YouTube, so obviously they know who you are, because you got over 1,000 subs. Congratulations, by the way. But still, for the sake of the show, how about you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Lillypillies?
Well, I'm Manny, and I play in a band called the Lillypillies. It's basically a duo. It's myself and my friend Alessandro, who I've known for a long time, nearly 30 years. And we started, during the pandemic. I'd been playing music for years and years prior to that. And we just sort of started with a few songs, and not really knowing what direction we were going to go into. And we just, discovered really that we were having a lot of fun doing that, and just seeing the reactions from people. And, I think there's no going back now once, once you start, realizing how much you can do stuff now, because, we live in a time now where we're able to record and perform and do all these wonderful things that once upon a time we couldn't do. If we to do what we do now, not that long ago, you had to be signed to a record label, and you had to sort of get played on a certain radio station to put yourself out there. And now we can do that. So it's great. it's just enjoying the ride pretty much.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? I left my iPad actually in the other room because I took way longer setting up the technical crap today than I thought I was going to. But I mean that little $800 iPad that I've got is literally my entire recording studio. It's amazing. You just take it with you, and everybody these days has an album coming out because it's just such an easy thing to do. Like I'm pretty sure my mailman has an album coming out. It's it's just it's amazing, the stuff that you can do. So what the Lillypillies? So was this something that you had wanted to do for a long time leading up to it, as far as like maybe just being in a band, or
Yeah, I felt like I had a lot of unfinished business that I had to catch up on. And what I mean by that is that I've been playing music for a very long time, and then I stopped doing music for almost 10 years. I did literally nothing at all, and I got to a point where music was a thing of the past for me. But still, I think when you're a musician and and a songwriter, it never goes away. Like, I've always got melodies in my head, and so I had all this stuff that I just wanted to get out, and I felt that I had nothing to show for all my hard work from the past. I had, I had, even with my wife, she'd often say, "Oh yeah, Manny used to be a musician," and she used the term "used to be," and people would say,
oh
"Oh, can we hear stuff like, and I literally have nothing that I would be proud of that I wanted to show people when they ask me, "Let's hear what you've got," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't really have anything that I'm proud of." So the Lillypillies has given me the chance to get, become a musician again, and to show I've got so many things that I'm proud of now that I've created in the last 2 years. I've got, a whole channel full of music and stuff that gotten played on the radio, and I really feel that it's an outlet for me. If I have a song in my head, I can go and create the song and put it out in the real world. I feel blessed to be able to do this.
yeah, and that's awesome. I feel the same way about a lot of the music that I make. You come across certain folks who make music, and you can almost just hear in the material that they're just doing it because they think it's what they should be doing, or it sounds like it sounds cool to tell people like, oh yeah, I'm in a band or I make music, so people sort of do it more for that reason. And then every now and then you come across artists who really just kind of rip their hearts out and let them bleed on the tape, and that's just such a cool thing, right? And I hear a lot of that in the music that you write and produce. Like you could tell that you really put your soul into it, and that you're really proud of it.
Yeah, I am, and I guess I'm blessed as well because I have made a lot of mistakes in the past, and I have the experience, and I know exactly what I want out of this, and I'm talking musically.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I put something out there, I want to make sure that it's perfect, because in the past I have put stuff out there, and whenever I listen to it now, I kind of cringe, thinking, "Oh, I wish I would spend a little bit more time on that song," and it sounds a little bit pitchy, and there's no going back, because once once the music is out there, it's out there, unless you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
That's
and
it.
now, I guess one of the reasons why I spend a lot of time on a single track before I put it out is because I really want to make sure that I don't have any regrets afterwards. And I'm a perfectionist, and I guess I'll never be 110% satisfied with anything that I do. I wish I wasn't like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty close. I think I've gotten to a point where I know what I want, and if I'm not satisfied, I won't publish it either. Like I have stuff that I haven't put out there yet because I'm just not 100% happy with it yet. So
Yeah, that's
I've got a
fair.
new one coming out in 2 days, so, and I've been sitting on that for so long as well.
Yeah. You've really just sort of described my musical journey as well. Back years and years ago, I had a lot of music that I was making. I had a lot of stories to tell and things that I was really, really proud of, and things that were really, really important to me. but I had $6 in my checking account and no tangible way to record any of it. So I would just kind of do the best that I could with the limited stuff that I had, and just kind of release it on handmade burn CDs, and that was just it. And now looking back, I mean, like I've got there was this one album I did. It was about 10 and a half, 11 years ago, called Neighborhood Watch. And if you listen to that and really just listen to the material, it's some of the best material I think of that era of Mike Hageth. But the quality is just awful. So now I'm at the point where I'm like, do I do the Taylor Swift thing and just re-record old albums, or do I just say, yes, that exists and that sounds the way it does, and that it's just sort of a time capsule to a different part in my life, or what? Because these days I focus a lot more on production quality, and to the point where my new album, All the Best and All You Do, I've been working on that for like 2.5 years, and I still don't have all 10 songs done because I've almost gone too far that way, where you're so caught up in the pursuit of perfection that you're almost you're like paralyzed with it, right?
Yeah, you can get caught up in it as well. And I think that it's a bit of a balance because I often get carried away. I mean, I love the production. That's the part that I love the most, really,
Oh,
is
really?
yeah, it is. And I love I, even music videos. I love editing them and creating them. I don't like being in them and performing. In fact, when I'm in the video, it's like, oh, I've got to get changed now, and I've got to mime this song, and I've got to get one of my kids to hold the camera so that I can. I don't enjoy that bit, but the
No,
whole behind the scenes, I love it. You know, and
that's
but you
awesome.
can get caught up in the whole production thing, and sometimes I use like 60 or 70 tracks on one song, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, just scale
Yeah.
it down, scale it down.
It's so hard to it's just so hard to rein that all in once you get to that point, where you've just got so much going on, and you don't want to cut anything, but you also don't want to go merging tracks, because what if I end up needing this up a little bit or whatever. Doing everything on GarageBand on iOS has actually been a bit of a saving grace for me, because it caps at 32 tracks. You cannot go over 32.
Is that on the
So
iPad?
yeah, on the iPad. So once you get to that point, you're like, oh shit, I'm out of tracks. Guess I'm out of line. I've done too much. um, yeah. Tell me a little bit about the song "We'll Be Together," because this is a song that I really, really like, and it's of course I was looking through your discography today again, the Run to the Future album, which I have fortunate enough to have purchased and absolutely love it to death. Looking for a few songs that maybe I can cover, and you can tell me how I did. Does
Oh,
that
awesome.
sound cool? Yeah.
That's
All right.
fantastic.
Yeah. So tell me all about this one.
We'll Be Together was probably the first ever song that I wrote for Lillypillies, and the way that it happened was my kids, who were very young. I mean, I got three kids, and two of them are twins, and the twins were going to music lessons. One of them is a guitarist. They're 15 now, and with we'll be Together, I really wanted to involve them in the music creation process. So with my son, who plays the guitar, I said to him, I want to write a song with you. And he goes, oh, I don't know what to play, Dad. I said, play anything, and I'll just write the song around it. So he started strumming the intro of the dun 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 dun
Oh
dun
yeah,
dun
yeah.
dun 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 dun, those chords. And I said, perfect. Play it
Yep.
again, play it again, play it again. So he didn't know what he was doing, but I grabbed that riff and I wrote a whole song around it.
Yeah.
And that's in the recording and in the album. That's actually him strumming. That's
Oh really?
yeah, that's not me or Alessandro. That's him.
Oh, that's awesome. Have your kids guested on any other tracks on the album?
Yes, I'm hypnotized. And what else does he play in? He plays in a song called Remedy.
Okay.
and I think one other one that I can't think of right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, because as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm actually a terrible musician. I have a whole other skill set, so I can play everything but master at nothing.
Uh,
And I guess not everyone can be good at everything. Um, there are some fantastic guitarists who play the guitar really well, but they can't write music or they can't produce. And I can produce and write songs, but I can't really play the guitar well. I can sing, I can play keyboards, but when it comes to guitar, I rely on other people, my kids or my guitarist.
yeah, that's fair. I can play a little bit of guitar. I can play enough guitar to get by. But
You're a good
the,
guitarist. I've seen you.
I I know like 8 chords. I'm just really good at capoing to get around it. But I can't like solo or do leads and stuff like that. I'm not very good at any of that. And there's one track on this new album actually that is in desperate need of a solo, and I've reached out to a handful of friends, all of whom have sort of taken their stabs at it, and it's one of those things. It's almost a little frustrating as an artist, because you have an idea in your mind of exactly how you'd like it to sound, and then you're not good enough at soloing. Like I don't know how you describe this,
Yeah, but
um,
that's why
let
bands
alone in an
exist,
email.
right?
Oh yeah,
I
no,
mean, that's the whole
it's
point.
true.
Why do bands exist? Because bands exist because everyone has a role in the band.
Yeah, it's
So
true. Yeah. Well, "We'll Be Together" is probably one of my favorite Lillypillies songs, actually. And I think, and I'm not going to say that I can for sure, but I think I might be able to play it. So would
can't
you
wait
like to
to
hear
hear.
me?
Yes,
Would you
please.
like to hear me attempt to do that? Okay.
Definitely.
All right. All right. Just for logistical, is that the word? Whatever. For the purpose of the stream, I'm gonna throw the headphones down, because I can't really hear myself through them anyway. We were talking about this backstage. I'm not a very good audio tech, so I can't hear myself and you. So I'd rather hear you than me, which is why these have to go now. So I'm going to drop these. I'll ask that you mute your mic just to eliminate background noise. I'll play, I'll come back, and then we can undo those actions. Sound good, man?
Sounds good. So I'll mute
All right,
myself.
buddy. Yep, and I will lose these. Alrighty, let's see. Cool, cool. So I've got to do that. And then bust out the trusty old 12 string here. Who's all in the chat? Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, sweet, Gortium. Hello, Gortium. Right on. I'm going to leave that up. That's a nice comment. This was a nice surprise. Right on. Okay. So 12 strings are a pain in the ass to tune, by the way. So I think I've got it sounding pretty decent. Y'all have to let me know if I'm a little out to lunch. We're going to be capoing later on too, so I'm going to have to make a few little adjustments as we go along. But for now, let's take a stab at "We'll Be Together." What do you say, folks? That's better. All right. We'll be together. We'll be together. How's that sounding out there? Okay, right on. All hail. Thanks, buddy. All right. Here we go, everybody. Take a nice deep breath. Here we go now. When a shadow's hanging over me, don't turn your back. Come set me free. When the ground moves beneath my feet, don't walk away. Stay close to me. In the sunshine, in the rain, again. In the thunder, in the shade, when the sunlight will remain. We'll be together. We'll be together. We'll be together. When things are going wrong, we'll be together. We'll be playing our song, we'll be together. As far as the seas, we'll be together. Just you and me, we'll be together. When things are right or wrong, we'll be together. We'll be playing our song, we'll be together. As far as the seas, we'll be together. Just you and me. When it's like we're on a stormy sea, I'm falling out and sinking deep. When I don't know what's in front of me, don't walk away, just stay with me. In the sunshine, in the rain, in the storm and back again. Oh, in the thunder, in the shade, in the sunlight we'll remain. We'll be together. We'll be together. We'll be together. When things are right or wrong, we'll be together. We'll be playing our song, we'll be together. As far as the sea, we'll be together. Oh, just you and me. We'll be together. We'll be together. We'll be together. When things are right or wrong, we'll be together. We'll be playing our song, we'll be together. Just as far as the seas, we'll be together. Just you and me. Oh, in the sunshine, in the rain, in the storm and back again. Oh, in the thunder, in the shade, in the sunlight we'll remain. In the sunshine, in the rain, in the storm and back again. In the thunder, in the shade, in the sunlight we'll remain. We'll be together.
Woo! Wow.
All right, how was that, buddy?
That was a buzz. That was a buzz. Like listening to
Yeah?
somebody else play a song that you wrote,
Cool.
in a bedroom is a real buzz.
Well, I'm playing it in this is a spare bedroom.
On the
So
other side of the world.
yeah, well, yeah, well, your music has transcended literally the entire planet. So the meaning behind "We'll Be Together." This is, is this one of those COVID songs where we're isolated and we'd all like to be together, or is this a love story? What exactly was the theme, or would we rather not talk about it? Because I know some material is off limits for stories.
No, like the first album is called Run to the Future, and a lot of the songs had a common theme and were actually positive in the sense that we were in lockdown and we wanted to kind of be somewhere else. There's songs on that album called, Wake Me Up in a Few Years' Time,
Yeah,
which basically means like, this is crap, but it's quite a positive outlook on life because what I was trying to say is that things will will be better. We'll be together. Wake me up in a few years' time. Maybe someday is another one. The
Yep.
album that I'm writing right now, which I'm hoping to finish in the next few months, is actually quite the opposite. It's about, and it's going to have a reference to the present day, and I think
Okay.
that part of that will be the title of this album. And there's songs in there that are completely opposite. It's actually quite a doom and gloom, I guess. Like, there's going to be songs that you've probably already heard, like Addictions, Waiting for a Revolution. Um, just,
All
even
very
those
good songs.
song titles, Losing My Mind. So it's about being in the present day and all the problems of the present day. Um, and, and I'm hoping to do maybe a trilogy, and then the third one maybe might go in the past. So I guess, to answer your question anyway, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positive songs on that first album, Run to the Future, and I think We'll Be Together is one of those where, you know it's one of the lines is "We'll be together when things are right or wrong," probably in reference to my kids and my family, which
Okay.
is will be a contrast to what I'm writing now, like, waiting for revolution and losing my mind and addictions, and there's other songs that you haven't heard, which are sort of, I guess, I don't know. I mean, you just write about what you have, what your thoughts are in that time. And I think, as negative as the pandemic was, I think there was a lot of, I think it made people realize that we need to change, and maybe this is a good time for a change, and things will surely be better in years to come, because it can't get any worse than right now. But ever since then, we've had
Yeah.
so many things go wrong, and that's what I'm writing about at the moment is, you know so yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So it really just sort of encompasses the entire idea of togetherness and just sort of overcoming anything that life throws at you personally or worldly, anything like that. So yeah, that's super cool. When I was going through it and really reading the lyrics, it's like, oh, this is really really uplifting, which is cool because it maybe a little bit of a contrast to my material, where typically if I'm writing about togetherness and things like that, it's usually about the lack of it, because I write from a lot of personal experience, and so in the past when I would experience heartbreak, that was like, yes, perfect, I've got an album now. And
I think it's a
actually,
lot harder.
yeah.
It's a lot more difficult to write positive songs than it is negative songs. That's what I've thought. Because when you're happy, you don't necessarily want to go and jump on the musical instruments and tell everyone, "Hey, look how happy I am." Like, it's actually difficult to do that. But when you're feeling a bit down, and maybe a little bit depressed, or just in the wrong headspace, it's kind of easier to get your thoughts out, and to write a song that's maybe not so happy. That's what I've found anyway.
I really believe that. It is so much harder to write when you're happy than when you're sad. And it's funny actually, because I usually find myself sort of drying up on material when life is going too well, and I'll jokingly tell my wife Tiana, like, can you just like do a few little things just to make me really miserable, because like I need that push to get over the hump that I'm in, or slump, or whatever it is. Um, so on the theme of togetherness, and in true Mike Hagath fashion, the theme of the lack of togetherness, I will play a song now, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So do one of yours and one of mine, um, if that's cool. It
Yeah.
seems like folks are digging it. So I'll play you a song of mine that was sort of more sarcastic, in the sense that, while I wrote this for a girl at the time who I really hoped that um, I would end up with, and spoiler alert, I did not. It was incredibly toxic, just as a relationship, just a very bad match, and seeing the way life has turned out, I could not be more thankful for that. But at the time, you know, I was sort of like, oh, I really hope this works, but I know it won't. And so I'm going to write a song about how great and almost, you know, magical, or maybe a little too magical it would be. Because usually if something sounds a little bit too good to be true, sometimes it is. I was quite the pessimist. I'd say that. So I'll play you that song. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Right
Let's
on.
hear it.
Everybody seems to be having a good time. Toxic relationships make for great music. Well, Paul, tell me in 5 minutes if you think that's the case. But I appreciate the confidence. Let's do it. All right. Okay. Still sounds in tune. Good enough for me. All right. Here's a song. Some of you might know it. Some of you might not. That's totally cool. Go and look up Mike Haggith. If Ever Comes the Day. It's the name of an album. It is also the name of this song on said album. An early August morning, late night rush with the summer breeze. The distant early warning as we embrace beneath the trees. And I tried so hard to tell you you're so precious and unique. But articulation failed me, became impossible to speak as we lay between the road and the creek. And after all is said and done, after we both had our fun, when our two hearts beat as one, only then our day will go. But you must understand now that I won't wait forever, dear. Telling me how you're burning more just to hold me near. Is it love you feel, or is it just fear? Yeah. When your passion fall away, you'll feel more predator than prey, and you won't have the words to say. Only then will come a day. I say now, I'll never break your precious heart. But you can't comprehend how you fake content while we're apart. Time will soon be come and gone. One more thing before you move on. Is this the light that you have drawn? And after all is said and done, after we both had our fun, when our two hearts beat as one, only then our day will come. Your past will fall away. You feel more predator than prey, and you won't have the words to say. Only then will come a day. Yeah, only comes the day, yeah, if ever comes the day.
All right.
All right. Well, let's throw that back on.
I was going to say,
All
you're such a
right.
good storyteller, you know, you really are.
I appreciate that, and that's one of the things that I've really liked about your music is just how illustrative and sort of evocative it can be emotionally. Oh, sweet, Jacob Quarrel is here. I think that's our first Facebook comment. Good. Does that mean that we've been carrying on Facebook this whole time, or did Zuck finally just wake up and allow the stream to happen? I don't know. Um, cool.
It's funny, there are so many socials out there, and you know, and we I try and sort of be on all of them, but you have to kind of, I think, pick and choose and concentrate on just a few. So for me, it's pretty much YouTube and Instagram, and but yeah, there's Facebook, TikToks, and whatever else is out there. It's just too difficult, isn't it, to keep up?
It really is. And you know what? I mean, Facebook just keeps changing stuff. Just not even optimizing and making it better. They just change things for the sake of changing it. I wonder if the developers are seeing what's going on at Twitter and they're just trying to look busy because they're worried about their jobs or something. Because, I mean, now you've got to like, even though you're logged in and you manage the page, you've got to like go to the page, switch into the page, which is kind of a sub profile off of your own profile, just in order to post things. It's awful, I've kind of screwed myself up a bit because I put all my eggs in the Facebook basket a really long time ago. So now I'm broadening out to YouTube. I like Instagram a lot. I had a personal one that I'm sort of just slowly transitioning into more music focus. Um, I'm honestly, I will say I'm about to undergo a little bit of a rebrand in appearance and in presentation and also in media focus a little bit too. So get ready for that because it's probably going to be TikTok. Isn't that great? Everybody's so
Oh, I mean,
happy.
we're on TikTok as well, and as I
Oh
said,
yeah,
you
you
know,
have to be.
you have to be. But my advice is, you know, choose a couple of them and concentrate on be on every platform because it's obviously going to be good for your music to get around a lot, like more, but just concentrate on a couple, and you know, otherwise it's just unless you want to spend your whole day on them. So
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just even keeping up with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then the website, sending out emails, festival applications, stage plots, this, that, and the other. I'm launching a record label, so affiliating artists with that, prepping their artist bios and their pages, and getting their artwork all done. I mean, man, you sit down on your day off and you blink and it's dinner time. Like it's a full time affair.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot about the music, but also so much other stuff behind the scenes, eh?
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's fun as well to balance it out. Like, you know, I obviously the fun part for me is the music creation, but you know, when you need a break from that, then you can concentrate on maybe promoting it. I try and sort of balance the two.
For sure. I've heard that getting an email list put together is a really good way to do that too. Like there's always another way, and it always seems like a better way. It's so much to keep up with. Just crazy. But okay, who are your influences? I always just love to ask that, and I always like to just ask it out of the blue, so that you don't have time to think about it. Influences, go.
Yeah, look, there's so many of them, you know, and as a songwriter, I like to think that I have a very broad taste in music. Um, I grew up listening to. I grew up in Europe, in Italy, in the late 80s and 90s before I moved to Australia. I was living in Australia prior to that. So at the time, you know, in my angsty teen years, I listened to a lot of stuff like Depeche Mode, The Cure, Joy Division, New Order, all that sort of that kind of genre, which I
I was
guess
gonna say, so that's where your happy-go-lucky sound comes from, right there.
yeah, not exactly, but also a lot of they used a lot of technology and they were pioneers with that kind of stuff, and that's I guess where my production passion comes from, just from listening to all the synths that those bands used to use, and I still love that. And then later on, when the whole grunge thing happened, I loved that as well. I really loved listening to stuff like Smashing Pumpkins and Nirvana and that whole decade. I think there was so much good music that came from that as well. So
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
Lillypillies is kind of a combination of stuff. It's for a lot of the times I'm a little bit limited by my instrumentation. So if I wanted to do a heavy thrash metal song, even though sometimes I like that, I wouldn't be able to because I just don't have the instrumentation to do that. And I guess Lillypillies is kind of indie pop rock because of my influences on those decades. I also like a lot of the stuff that's out now. Believe it or not, I know a lot of people trash today's music, but I think if you go and listen to this, even the stuff that's out now, like stuff like Rihanna, okay, who if
Yeah.
you have you ever gone onto YouTube, for example, and listened to the instrumentals of a lot of the stuff that's out now, like just block out the singer's voice, go on and put in Rihanna instrumental and listen to the production on these songs. It's mind blowing, and I
It's
love to
really
listen.
immaculate. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, how do I get a drum sound like that? Because that drum sound is crazy. Or those strings that are going on in an Ed Sheeran song in the background. And a lot of the stuff, a lot of times I just analyze what people are doing now because I'm genuinely interested in listening to the production side of stuff. So I guess that whole mishmash of past influences combined with what's going on now is, I think, where my music fits in.
That is super cool. I really like that. For me, it's a lot of piano guys like your Billy Joels, your Elton Johns, Meatloaf, Jim Steinman, a lot of that stuff. I really love it. That's the kind of stuff that I grew up with, and so a lot of that sort of translates into my music
Yeah, I
to
can
some
hear that.
degree or another. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a lot
A
of the
bit of Bruce
times like the
Springsteen.
oh God, I love Bruce.
I
Yeah,
can hear a bit of Bruce in you.
a little bit, eh? I appreciate that. That's the boss. I guess that makes me the assistant to the regional manager. All
The Canadian
right.
boss.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that means he's about 34% more the boss than I am, just based on current exchange rates. So that's pretty good. It's not bad. Tell me about um, I'm Hypnotized. So you had mentioned this one earlier. This is another one that features the little ones actually a little bit in the instrumentation. It's such a good tune. And spoiler alert, I'm gonna try my hand at that one
Oh, awesome.
next. So we're gonna see if your kids do it. Maybe I can do it, but chances are they're gonna outplay me uh, tenfold. So we'll find out.
So I'm hypnotized. When I wrote that song, I was pretty much by myself. So now I guess the lineup of the Lillypillies at this present time is myself and my good friend Alessandro, who I've known since I was, a teenager, pretty much. At the time when I wrote "I'm Hypnotized," and I was just starting out with Lillypillies. It was literally just me on my own, and I wrote the song on a guitar, even though I can't really play the guitar. So the intro of that song is me going, "Dun, dun, 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 dun." and and I had bought this iRig. That was my very first purchase of gear, and I discovered that I could plug it into the Mac and maybe write a song. And then when it came to the chorus bit, I could hear that it would benefit if it was just guitar strumming in that, because there's a lot of production going on in that song. There's quite a lot of stuff going. Let's like, sometimes maybe a little bit kind of U2 sort of production, but then
I was gonna say that's one of the things that really throws me as a listener is, and maybe it's just it clashes with so much conventional wisdom in production, but typically you build up to the choruses, but here it's we're driving, and then we strip it right down, and it just sucks you in. It's always stood
yeah.
out to me for that reason.
So in that case, I could hear that the song would benefit, because I don't like songs to sort of be the same. Like I really like the dynamics to go up and down, because it really sort of creates, dynamics and tension and whatever else. So when it came to the chorus, it came right down with just the vocal and the acoustic guitar, and I didn't have a guitarist, so I called out to my son, Sam, I need you. And he's like, oh, what, Dad? I said, I need you to play these chords. So, and he did that, and that's him in the chorus there.
Nice. That's yeah, that's super awesome. I absolutely love that. You know, you're bringing on guest musicians, and at the same time, you are quite literally doing it in house. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
one thing that I really want out of Lillypillies is there's no egos. I just want it's all about the song. Whatever the song needs, the song gets. Whether it's strings, whether it's guitars, keyboards, or whatever else. And Alessandro, the other Lillypilly, like he's aware of that. We always say, does it need a solo? Does it not need a solo? It's really just, it's not about us. It's about the song. That's
For sure.
what I because in the past, I've been in bands before, and it's all about the egos. And I used to be in this band where the guitarist wanted to do a 1 minute solo in every track. I'm like, oh my god, no.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's too much. It's just you've got to play to the song above all else, right? That's the
Exactly.
big thing. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Um, cool. All right, I've got to slap a capo on. A little bit of retuning here because the intonation's probably a little bit out. You know what though? This guitar is actually doing pretty well, considering I hadn't really pulled it out of its case um, until today, since we moved like 3 months ago. So, like, 8 of the strings were like still in tune, like brilliantly. So that was super awesome. But yeah, I'm gonna have
While
to
you do that,
touch up
can I
one or two.
just say hi to people in the chat? I really appreciate you being here, guys. Tobias, how are you? Paul, Hetriani. I chat to Hetriani quite a bit on Insta. Elena, it was Elena's birthday the other day. Happy birthday again, Elena. Um, who have I missed? Pukey, hello. Billiam. Anyway, thank you for being here. I'll mute myself now.
All right, cool. Thank you for that. That was like just the perfect amount of stalling while I got this figured out. So very cool. I hope that it sounds. Yeah, I think that's gonna do just fine. Okay, so we do that, and then we do that. Okay. Got to move the mic around a little bit just for the playing portion, or I wonder if I just move back a little bit. No, you know what? We'll just hang out here. Cool. All right. So again, very temporary setup right now. While we still get moved in and settled. So it's a little bit chaotic. Sound is a little bit up and down, but hey, what the hell? What can you do? So here is my take on "I'm Hypnotized" by the Lillypillies, and I really hope I do this one justice because this is one of my favorite songs. And then after this, I'm going to be doing my favorite song by them. So we'll see. Lots of pressure. What do we have? We have 10 whole people watching. Oh man! All right. Cool. tried to be like everybody else. I tried my best to always get it right. I learned to live, I learned to fly, I learned to stay afloat so I can survive. I'm like the rain, I'm like the sun, I'll be whatever makes you come back again. Is there more than this, more than this, more than what I already know? When I'm with you, there's no reason for loneliness. And I'm hypnotized, hypnotized by you. I've traveled the world, I've seen mountains of emptiness, and I'm hypnotized, mesmerized by you. I tried to hide inside my disguise. I tried my best not to pick a fight. I learned to run, I learned to crawl. I've got no parachute or catching my fall. I'm like the sun, I'm like the moon. I'll be whatever if you'll come back to me soon. Is there more than this, more than this, more than what I already know? When I'm with you, there's no reason for loneliness. And I'm hypnotized, hypnotized by you. I've traveled the world, I've seen mountains of emptiness, and I'm hypnotized, mesmerized by you. Let's fly on my rocket ship. I'm high in the sky, high in the sky. Let's fly on my rocket ship, watching the world go by. When I'm with you, there's no reason for loneliness. And I'm hypnotized, mesmerized by you. How's that?
Wow, I can't
That?
believe you learned all these songs in a day.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah. That was I was up at like 2 in the morning last night when we were talking, and I was like, ooh, okay. I get to learn some songs.
Wow. I guess
Yeah, which is
it's the
always fun.
ultimate test. I think if the songs work, I mean, my songs have got so much production on them, but if you strip them all back and they still work, I guess you've done something right. I guess I've done something right.
Yeah, you absolutely have. Yeah, I think like the true mark of a really good song is if you can pull it down to just like its absolute bare bones, and it still sounds like a nice song. So yeah, you did a very very good job, and I had a very hard time picking just three, but yeah.
I've got to be kinder to myself though, because as you can maybe have realized that for some reason I write them so high for my voice. I kind of have to start writing more in my vocal range rather than, I think a lot of the songs I just write in the C key, C or D, because I'm used to that. And then it's like, oh, I should bring it down a little bit more, because then the couple of times where I've sung them, performed them live, I'm like, oh my God, these songs are just way up there.
Oh yeah.
Sorry
I
about that.
No, it's okay. I have a similar problem too. The new record that I'm working on right now, it's going to be a long time before I can actually perform that from start to finish, without throwing my voice by the fourth track. Um, and honestly, I think, for every adaptation, jeez, adaptation, um, the track list is going to get screwed around, which is kind of fun. It adds an element of unpredictability to it anyway. But yeah, I mean, just doing all 10, especially just back to back with just enough time to do this and say thank you and nothing else. That's way too much. um, yeah. Well, okay. I've done two of yours. That means I have to do another one of mine. So what can I tell you about this one? So this one is called Morning Star, and it is from the same album as the first one, If Ever Comes the Day. In fact, Morning Star comes before If Ever Comes the Day on the album, but I played them in different order because, because of the capo thing. And once I either fix the intonation on this beautiful piece of machinery, or just get myself another guitar, which is always dangerous, but always want to do.
Every now and again, your songs come up in my shuffle. The other, I think I told you the other day I was at the gym
Oh
not too
yeah,
long ago, and you came up, and I'm like, oh, this is Mike.
yeah. And then you're like, how the hell am I supposed to punch the bag to Morning Star? Just yeah, that's me working out, by the way. Y'all get a yeah, y'all get a first hand view. This is the POV part of the show. POV, we've gotten into a bar fight. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, yeah, don't act like you're not intimidated. All right, well here I'll do Morning Star, and then yeah, we'll keep chatting, buddy. Right on. So this is the first song that I ever recorded with the trusty GarageBand iOS. And I did this kind of more as an experiment than anything else. And then just absolutely fell in love with the tune, and the lyrics and the name really just came to signify a time in my life where I was looking for some direction in my life. I'd felt like a lot of things had stagnated in my personal life at the time, and I wish that it was just as easy as getting up in the morning and looking out your window, and the first big bright thing you see could just guide you. So that's kind of where this song came from. And I recorded it and I loved it so much, obviously, that it led me to using GarageBand iOS basically full time. That's how I did the If Ever Comes the Day album. That's how I'm doing All the Best in All You Do. And it's also become one of my most popular songs. And as tribute to that, I've named my record label that I'm working on after it, Morning Star Records. Still in very early stages, but anyway, here's the song. And if you don't like it, well, screw you. It's a favorite of mine. I should have met you in the summer. I could have been your souvenir. I've always thought it quite the bummer when your tune don't come in clear. I think I met you in the daytime while we were clinging to our youth. It's in the middle of the night, things are hardly black and white when the lies become the truth. I guess I really missed the way you call my name. Oh, no one ever quite did it just the same. You'll never be alone, I'll always be your friend. I need you. Oh, I need you. We used to go down to the river while we were talking on and on. We would slip into the park just a little after dark when the magic was gone. Yeah, I guess I'll really miss the wind blowing through your hair. Oh, why'd you disappear when the love was there? You'll never be alone, I'll always be your friend. Oh, baby, I need you. Oh, I need you. I sit alone watching the phone. I feel the light started shining through, and I don't know why I sit and cry, faced with the prospect of losing you. Now it's time to go, but you need to know that I've been happier to see this through. And it's such a shame we play this game. Oh, is there something that I got to do? Or was there something I forgot to do? I guess I'll really miss the way you call my name. Oh, no one ever quite did just the same. You'll never be alone, I'll always be your friend. I guess I'll really miss the wind blowing through your hair. Oh, why'd you disappear when the love is there? You'll never be alone, I'll always be your friend. And as I look up to the moon, the sun and the stars, I give up everything, know just where you are. You'll never be alone, I'll be there to the end. Oh, baby, I need you. Oh, I need you. I need you. I need you. All right.
That's one of my favorites of yours. It's so catchy.
Really? Yeah.
It's got a really good hook.
Ah, you like that one, eh?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? That's ladies. Right on. Cool. Yeah, that's like I said, yeah, one of my favorites. One of my prouder ones for sure, and one that really sort of set me on the path that I've found myself on now. So in a lot of ways, I really do owe a lot to that song, and it's super, super cool to kind of see how everybody sort of loves that one as much as I do, I guess.
You did some really big shows a few months back. Congrats on that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was it's a bit more than a few months actually. I've been super quiet since I joined my new airline, and we've moved and all that good stuff. But last summer was pretty solid. Traveled to Sault Ste. Marie. I played on the big stage at the summer festival there, like
That would have been a
2,000
buzz.
people. Oh yeah, there were 2,000 people. The committee gave me Friday night at 8 p.m. I mean, you can't beat that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was absolutely mind blowing. I'm hoping that they liked us enough that I might get the invite to come back this year, but we'll see, because the thing about Sault Ste. Marie is it's just so full of talent that you honestly never know. Like you could have an opportunity, you could absolutely kill it, knock it out of the park, everything is amazing, and you don't get called back for like 10 years because they've got so many other artists that they've got to get through.
Competitive.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's really cool because you're friends with pretty much all of these people. So even if you don't get your shot, you're looking at them going, wow, I'm so happy that you're there. So it's really, really cool. It's I suppose it's competitive, yeah, in the sense that like we're all competing for, you know, a lot of the same time slots and stages, but it's such a supportive scene too in a lot of ways. There are very, very few exceptions to that, and I'm really fortunate, even though I haven't lived there in like 6 years, to still be considered, I guess, one of them. That's always been something I'm super, super proud of.
You must be doing something right.
I I like to think so, and I like to think that I'm still doing stuff that's you know, making people happy. And on that note, you know, I've been working on this new album for so long, and it's, you know, basically the sequel to If Ever Comes the Day, um, because I basically just write from my own life experiences. And um, you know, If Ever Comes the Day told the story of that super turbulent time in my life and a really toxic relationship and all those awful things. And then All the Best in All You Do, the album that I'm working on now, it sort of starts out, you know, coming out of that, and going through those really lonely spells, working through those stages of grief, all in the early months of COVID while the whole world is shut down and you're quite literally, you have nothing else to do but sit all locked up in your house with your thoughts and your feelings and work it out. Um, so I mean, it was very, very therapeutic, in a lot of ways. And then of course, as the album continues, it goes through, you know, Tiana and I reconnecting and eventually getting married at the end of the album. And so it really starts off on a super, super like turbulent roller coaster and very slowly just picks up into this crazy skyrocketing optimism toward the end, which is super cool and not typically how a Mike Haggith album goes. So I guess that says a lot about just how good the life events have been. So, with all that being said, what is next for the Lillypillies? And you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but we've got some folks here who maybe weren't here at the beginning. And of course, it's never hurts to elaborate. So, what's next for the Lillypillies? What can we look forward to?
I've got a new one coming out in a couple of days. It's called Miles Away from Home. It's actually a very personal song. I don't really like to write things that are too. But I like to be a fly on the wall more type of songwriter. But every now and again, I do write from personal experience, and this is pretty much a song about how I had to move away from where I was living in Italy and moved to Australia, pretty much leaving friends and family behind and going on an adventure. And, you know, back then when there was no internet, Australia was a very far away place. Now you can just WhatsApp people or message them on social media. But back then I was literally leaving home with not a lot of cash in my pocket, no job or anything, and going and looking for a better life, I guess. And I wrote a song about it, and it's coming out on, I think, Thursday for you guys, Friday for me.
Right on. That's really awesome. I like I'm always a big sucker for when folks write about, you know, the things that they've gone through, especially when it's you know, it kind of follows the story arc of having to overcome something. To me, those are some of the best stories, where you can really sort of start off with a trial or tribulation, I guess, and you know, just sort of take the listener on the ride, as you go through it. Oh, one moment. Da-da-da-da. There we go. Um, da-da-da-da-da.
So it's a bit
Sure.
different from what
Yep.
we've done previously. I think it's a bit of a slower song. So the last couple of releases, which were Waiting for a Revolution and Addictions, were kind of more fast paced. This one kind of brings it back down again. It's good to, you know, not write the same song all the time, just to have the dynamics in what you release, and hopefully it doesn't throw people off too much.
Yeah, it's I find with some of the songs that you guys have put out since album one, it almost seems a lot more, maybe introspective isn't the right word, but it almost feels more, opinionated and storyteller centric, where we're looking at current world events and saying, I don't know if you've seen the movie Network. It came out in the mid '70s, but we're mad as hell and we're not going to take it anymore and stuff like that. And I love that. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably referring to maybe the song "Waiting for a Revolution." That was more of,
Yeah,
I guess, me thinking that whatever we're doing right now as a society clearly is not working. And we kind of need to hit somehow. I don't have all the answers, but we kind of need to hit the reset button on a lot of things, and that's what that song is about. It's not about having a particular opinion about something in particular. It's just saying, maybe one day everything will change, but right now we're waiting for a revolution. We need to hit the reset somehow.
that's right. Yeah, it's a song that in a lot of ways sort of challenges the status quo, and I like that. We're rocking the boat a little bit, and we're not afraid to say that something needs to change, which is really really cool. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. So upcoming. So I mean, we've got another single coming out. We've got a few other singles coming out. This is part
Yeah.
of a larger album.
Um,
Um, can you share a little more about that, or is it super super under wraps?
well, I think, I think that nowadays, once upon a time, and I don't know what strategy you have for your music, but once upon a time, when a big band was releasing music, they would release the album as a package, and then maybe three or four singles from that album after the album was out. I think times have changed now, and especially if you're not a known band like we are. My strategy is to maybe release half the songs prior to the album, and then when I release the album, 6 or 7 songs are probably songs that people have heard before, and then maybe three or four new ones on top of that. So, and that's just the way that I think for me works, because otherwise there's too much time in between releases. Maybe a year, like I could disappear for a year and not do anything, but releasing things maybe one song every couple of months, I think gives a chance to sort of still be in the picture and have more subscribers come in and things like that. So I think we've already released maybe 4 or 5 songs, and I've got a few more that I've written that haven't been released yet. Um, I'm going to Italy again in a few weeks' time in June,
Nice.
and that'll give me a chance to meet up with the other Lillypillie, and we're going to be doing a few music videos while we're there, and maybe some jamming and some things like that. So busy times, I guess.
For sure. So, on the topic of a new album, I was wondering if we could take a little tiny bit of a detour, and if I could play the first two songs from my new record,
Yes,
because it
please.
seems we've got a couple new folks watching, and I mean, track two is "Twist of Fate," and that's been out for the better part of a year now. But on the album, basically the way it starts, the first half of the record, the first 5 songs, all kind of flow into each other in this big 18-minute thing, and it's supposed to sort of go through almost like the 5 stages of grief as this relationship is running its course, and eventually it ends in acceptance, and then the album moves on from there. But yeah, it starts off admittedly a little bit depressing, with the song "All You Do," and then it goes into "Twist of Fate." But they're basically one song. Just "Twist of Fate" is at twice the speed. So I think I'll do that. Give everybody a little bit of a taste of that, because apart from a few people, I don't know that anybody's really heard "All You Do." So that sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it, buddy. Right on. Here we go. All
I'll
right.
mute myself.
Cool, cool. I am glad that I didn't preemptively move the capo up to up to the 3 spot, because I was thinking about it, and then that would have screwed everything up. All right. Here we go. Little ditty called "All You Do," and then we'll do "Twist of Fate," because that's super super cool. Let's go. All right, Paul, you said it. We're doing it. In silence, I cannot in mind bleeding heart. She chooses violence as she tears your whole damn world apart. I say, I try to give my best to you, but using me is all you do. With these hands I built a tower, counting minutes, count the hours away from you. I have seen your precious smile setting far below the hill. And I have counted every mile to bridge a distance I can't feel. And I don't want to know what you did last summer. I don't want to know the how, the why, the when. And you can think of me as a late newcomer, suffering and trying to make you smile again. But are you still not satisfied, or have you seen the other side of all you do? Oh, won't you please give me a sign, or promise me that there be nine the things you do? No, I still don't know the reason, counting weeks and counting seasons away from you. No, I still don't understand how all of this could go unplanned, or if it's true, or if it's true. Or if it's true. It's been a cold December, the darkest lows and the deepest blues. No, I don't remember how far it goes or how much I lose. And I try hard to listen, but you make excuses and not to choose. Crack that smile and shake those hips, press that bottle to your lips. Crack that smile and shake those hips, press that bottle to your lips. Have you seen my baby? She's riding high in a black balloon. She hasn't been nearly there, but I hold out hope that you'll be here soon. don't want to keep up with a setting sun and a rising moon. Crack that smile and shake those hips. Press that bottle to your lips. Crack that smile and shake those hips. Press that bottle to your lips. You got that old town up in fits. You'll lose this be sinking ships. Big, 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 fabulous. You're the one you can't resist. Oh yeah. When I'm good to go, you're as good as gone. When I'm good to go, you're as good as gone. When I'm good to go, you're as good as gone. When I'm good to go, you're as good as gone. When I'm good to go, you're as good as gone. When I'm good to go, you're as good as gone. When I'm good to go, as good as gone, gone, gone. Crack that smile and shake those hips. Press that bottle to your lips. Crack that smile and shake those hips. Press that bottle to your lips. Got that old town up in fits. You'll lose this for sinking ships. I'll be the one you can't resist. Be that one, baby, you can't resist. Oh yeah. Whew.
That's
That one.
that's very strong songwriting. That's another
Oh
example
man.
of a song that would work either way, either with or without production. Because if the song is there, if it's a strong song, as far as songwriting is concerned, it can work any which way. So, congrats.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. It's it sounds better with the production, for sure. But yeah, it's just you wanna like capture the energy, and you don't want to use the production to make the song. I think is really the best way to put that, right? Like you want the song to be able to stand on its own, and then your production should be a certain way to sort of just bring out what you want to bring out in it, rather than trying to use the production to sort of just build a song that you don't really have. Let's see what's going on in that chat. Let's see. I was expecting Mike to hit play on the demo, which is great. Then he picks up the acoustic. Cool. I can't play my whole albums back to back like he can. Can, but not pretty. Go, Mike. Well, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's super, super cool. Yeah, and Tobias, you absolutely would kill it too. Thank you. Paul, lots of fire emojis. Really appreciate that, everybody. Jacob
Tobias
Quarles
is
loves
too
the video
humble.
too.
Tobias is a great musician.
Oh, he's a phenomenal musician. And I hope that he doesn't mind me saying that his new album, Shockwaves, that we're working on behind the scenes, I'm very fortunate to be co-producing it. It sounded really good. So,
And wait for the new
yeah.
Hetriani track because am I allowed to say that I've heard it? I've heard it. It's good. It's very good.
Oh, well, either way, it's live. You've said it. So there we go. Oh man, yeah, super super cool. Album is a good one. Thank you. Tobias is one of the few people who has heard the full demo of the album that I have right now. So basically, it's exports of the 7 songs that have been fully mixed, and then the instrumentals of the other 3 that don't have vocals yet, and they're all set up in sequence. I sent that out to a few people just to kind of gauge what they thought about it, and Yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive. So either I just have very nice friends and I'm living in an echo chamber, or it's very we're on the right path with it for sure. Tobias says it's a very strong demo. Um, yeah, I really appreciate that. It's super super cool. Um, all right, so you said you're going back to Italy. And so let's talk about that. Going back to Italy, of course, means that you have gone to Italy. And in fact, we all were very fortunate to catch a glimpse of what that looked and sounded like. So talk a little bit about the Lillypillies in Italy. How was that? What sort of fueled that? And did it come together as easily as you had hoped, or did it come together easier than you thought it would?
Well,
Let's
I
hear
guess
it.
I'm fortunate that I'm able to go back, uh, a few times a year because of the job that I do. That I don't really want to go into too much. It's not that exciting, really. But
Uh,
so when I knew that I was going there, I'm usually on a time limit as well, so I don't really have a lot of time to spend there. They're usually quick trips. But I said to Alessandro, look, I'm going to be there for a few days. If you can get something organized, great. Otherwise, it's fine. We can do some videos. And he'd sort of gotten organized with a studio and a couple of other musician friends who had actually learnt all the songs. So all I had to do was pretty much turn up, and
yeah.
I had to learn the songs as well, because after I write these songs, I kind of had to learn how to play them on the keyboard again, which which I didn't really know how to do. So we kind of rehearsed the day before. I think I got my head around the songs that I'd written and where my hands had to go on the keyboard, and um, and so I had all this footage on my phone. So we set up all of the cameras in the room. We had Logic set up on the Mac, and we plugged ourselves in, and the idea was just to sort of like record a live, like, well, I guess the objective was, because we're, I guess, like we wanted to show people that we weren't just a video band, that we can actually sing and play and perform. And that gave us the opportunity to show everyone that with no backing tracks at all, we could just go into a room, pick up instruments and play them. So it gave us a really good opportunity to do that. And when I got home back to Australia, I had hours and hours of footage, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to just like sort of put the songs together that we recorded? But so I did a kind of behind the scenes. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, all the behind the scenes are in black and white. And then when we go into the performance of the songs, then we appear in color, and we get the multi angles of the room. So I thought that was something a bit different that we hadn't done before, which I think
I
worked really
think
well.
I think there's definitely a little bit of conventional wisdom to that, because I think it was within a month or two, either before or after Lillypillies in Italy, I had put out a video, the Steeltown sessions, and it was kind of the same thing. I flew into Sault Ste. Marie to meet up with the band, and at the time we were rehearsing for the festival concert. And so I was like, well, why don't I just hang my phone in the room, because all of our instruments were all going through a board on this massive computer, and everything like was just being wired back into our headphones, which is brilliant, by the way. Phenomenal way to preserve your hearing in a 3 hour session. And yeah, it was like, well, we already have the audio, and that's usually the hardest part. So let's just set up a camera. Then, of course, as it turns out, my front camera on my phone sucks, and it was like flickering as it was trying to adjust to the light as we were moving around. But I was like, oh, whatever. It's a fly on the wall tape. Then we'll do that. So
And I love that
yeah.
stuff. And even when growing up watching other bands do similar things, like U2 did Rattle and Hum, and Metallica did one as well, and so did Depeche Mode, and we can do these things these days. We don't have to be signed to any label. We can act. We actually have the technology and the capability to do all the things that we want to do. So why not do them?
Oh yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, that's what you're going to fall back on, right? Like, if the band ever comes to an end, or if one day I wake up and I can't sing anymore, I'm going to pull out all the CDs, all the LPs, all the videos, and be like, well, this is it, and it's here. And that's a really cool thing.
And then we did a couple of music videos, which was the Waiting for Revolution and Addictions video, which also were kind of improvised. So to get inside this studio where we were, we had to go through a factory, and I'm literally thinking, what is this place? Factory, music video. That's it. Let's just film. So it was kind of without much planning. It was done that way. And then one evening we went out for dinner. I wanted to take the guys out because they'd worked hard and on doing all the songs. So I thought, okay, let's go out for a meal. And we were in Italy above this hill, and I thought, wow, this is amazing view, music video. And that's when the Addictions video came in. So, I know that we use a lot of stock footage these days, but we carry around phones in our pockets all the time, and you can just whack it out and capture things, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I Now that I'm traveling to really exotic places with my work, I almost want to get myself a collapsible travel guitar, and shoot little videos like oh, here's 10 seconds of me playing this song in Belize, or I was in Barbados on last Friday. So anyway, here's me playing in Barbados in a Rastabush shelter. You know what I mean? Like,
You're a
you can
pilot, so
do
the
literally
world is
whatever you
your
want.
oyster.
It's fun. It really is. Like, you can just literally do whatever you want to do. So we talked a little bit about you know the first album, and just everything that went into it, and of course it's called Run to the Future, which we all wanted to do, especially when the lockdowns were rolling and everything else. And that line comes from the song When We Were Young, which is just a brilliant sort of retrospective, I suppose, in a lot of ways. It's just all the things that we took for granted when we were younger that we wish we could get back to now. So tell me a little bit about that one. And spoiler alert, I'm going to take a stab at it after.
Ah, cool. I love that song still, and some of the songs that I do a little bit later on I don't love as much, but that one I feel very close to. It is a bit of a nostalgic song in the sense that it's a retrospect on how perhaps maybe things were easier and simpler and better in the past, and although we have all this technology at our fingertips now, it can be good and it can be bad at the same time. And as a dad, I can see how I spent my childhood and how the generation of today spend their childhoods. And I often tell my kids that you should be outside more and not in front of computers and games. And one of the lines of the song is, do you remember what is it? Do you remember all your hopes and dreams when happiness didn't come from a
Didn't
screen?
come from a screen.
And I think we're in a fortunate position, I think, that we are able to appreciate the technology that we have, because it's not all bad. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be doing what we're doing right now. But at the same time, we can also appreciate the life that we had before that, and we can sort of balance the two. But I think for the generation of today that don't really know any better and have had an iPad in their lap since they were 3 years old, I don't know. I think we're in, I think, a territory that hasn't been explored before, and what impacts does it have, for the future when all is the internet. So I think the song kind of, I felt the need to explore that theme about, you know, were things better when we were young or not?
It's kind of the great debate, isn't it? Especially in aviation, everybody always looks at the '60s as the golden era of travel. the golden era of aviation, you know, at the Pan Am and when TWA and all that. But when you look at it in hindsight, well, they were in a lot of ways very, very premium, sure, but planes crashed all the time, and hijackings were rampant, and everybody was smoking, and it was kind of just gross to sit in. So, I mean, I'm, you know, as much as I can look back on a very romanticized version of that too, you know, I appreciate, you know, how far we've come. And I think the song "When We Were Young" does a really good way of, you know, painting the modern times as not necessarily just like the devil, you know. It doesn't necessarily paint the world as it is as anything nefarious. It just says, you know, every now and then it's nice to look back and reflect on where we've all come from.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know, as I said, I think that our generation is fortunate because we have the best of both worlds, and we can switch off if we really want to switch off. We can, but can the generation of today really switch off? I don't think they can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, our definitions of switching off would just be so much, you know, in conflict, I think. Yeah, that's a really good point. Um, do we think that that's kind of a loss for this generation, or it's just a sign of a different times?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have all the answers. All I know is that I think, you know, if I could, my kids are teenagers now, and one's in college and all that. But if I could go back to when they were more, when they were younger, I don't know if I would make all the technology readily available as I did in the past, because it doesn't really benefit anyone when you're 5 years old, you know. But at the same
Yeah.
time, we had twins, so you can imagine that's a bit of a handful. It's like, here you go, here's an iPad, just go and do that while, you know, we regroup and relax. And
I
so,
mean, even when we were growing up, though, there were still times when our folks, you know, just plopped us down in front of the TV. So I mean, in a way, we've always kind of had um, similar tendencies, I think, as human beings. But you're right; it's definitely different.
I think the main difference also is that what I found is that we really, you know, we were used to waiting on things. If your favorite band had an album out, you know, we would wait until the release of that album. We would go and search for the CD in a record store, hoping to find it. Nowadays, anything that you want, you can get. You
Oh
can you
yeah,
can go to Amazon right now and yeah, and listen to that song, or download it or buy it, that's just a stupid example, but what I'm saying is that I don't think there's any sense of waiting for something nowadays. Everything is readily available and you can get it straight away. And you
it
know,
definitely. Yeah, it is the age of instant gratification. I remember even when I was a teenager, you know, I would get CDs. I loved CDs. I've always loved music. Go figure. And I remember 2002, Coldplay came out with their album "A Rush of Blood to the Head," which was probably one of the greatest albums of all time, and I will defend that. Um, and I remember, you know, I knew everything on that album, and I loved it to absolute bits. I still do. It's one of my favorite records ever. And I remember then waiting for 3 years for the follow up because I thought, well, what are they going to possibly do next? And then in 2005, they released X and Y, and I was so let down at the time. I thought, man, you know, this is just awful. And now looking back on it, it's a fine album, and I enjoy it. Um, I don't love it the way I love Rush of Blood, but you know, sometimes you know we got very very good at being patient and waiting for things, and then I feel like that almost led to some disappointment sometimes, and maybe you know over time we've just learned to kind of roll with the punches because of that. Um, Whereas, nowadays, if you want to sit down and watch 9 seasons of Friends like that, you can. Um, and that there's something nice about that, but you're right. It's a totally different way to live.
Yeah, and I'm not putting it down either. I think in the song, I'm just asking a question, really. It's not saying this is bad and this is good. It's not even my place to say it, really. I'm just saying, do you remember um, when things happened? When you know, I can't remember the lyrics of my own song at the moment, but do you remember when all your hopes and dreams didn't come from a screen? That's one of the main um, uh, lines in the chorus.
Yeah. Um, right on. Well, I think I'm gonna take a stab at playing it. What do you say, buddy?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. We're doing it. Oh, we're doing it, folks. Oh man, pressure is
Can't wait to hear this
on
one.
again. Pressure is on. Okay. Okay, cool. Intonation seems pretty solid, actually. Right on. Okay, we'll do that. Cannot forget that. Okay. All right, here we go. Y'all have to let me know in the comments if I'm doing this one justice or not, because this is probably the best known Lillypillies song, and I couldn't possibly sit here and take a stab at the material without doing this one. And if I don't do it justice, well, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep for all of eternity. But please still be honest. When the feeling is empty, when the weather gets you feeling down, and you think of the times when we were young, you would run to the future. Now you wish you could turn back time, and you think of the times when we were young. Do you follow your head or your heart? Would you fall off the edge and carry on from the start? We were never afraid when we were young. Do you remember the days we were never apart? With the world unplugged, was it better to be left in the dark? When the lights go out, can you see it? Whoa. You can't let go of this feeling. Whoa. Do you remember all your hopes and dreams? When happiness didn't come from a screen. When the lights go out, now you see it. And appreciate the times when we were young. When you don't want to worry, and there's nothing you can do but hit the ground. So you think of the times when we were young. Looking back at the days gone by, when the memories fade, can you feel it inside? Now you cherish the times when we were young. Do you remember the simple things we were waiting for? With the world in our pocket, there's nothing left to see anymore. When the lights go out, now you see it. Whoa. You can't let go of this feeling. Whoa. Do you remember all your hopes and dreams? When happiness didn't and appreciate the times when we were young. When the lights go out, now you see it. Whoa, you can't let go of this feeling. Whoa, do you remember your hopes and dreams when happiness didn't come from a screen? With the lights go out, now you see it. And appreciate the times when we were young. When we were young. When we were young. When we were young.
Woo! I joined in the end. I hope I didn't wreck it because of the levels and stuff.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the delay is like or whatever, but who cares, man? We're live. We're
Oh,
having
yeah, the delay. Did I wreck it? Did I?
Oh, I have no idea. I got no idea. Let's see. So cool. I can hear the original in my head as Mike plays this. So familiar and classic from the get go. Right on. Got to be such a rush to buy us, especially when all's it's done well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get some fires. We get some horns. Good stuff. Right on. Right on. Oh, that is super super cool. Mike does justice.
Thank
Really
you. That was
really
amazing.
appreciate it.
Really appreciate you learning all the songs in such a short amount of time. Thank you.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Um, yeah, like honestly, such awesome material, super super fun. I love it to bits. I really do. Um, so yeah, absolutely my pleasure. You write great stuff, man. You really really do, and that
Thank
makes
you.
my job super easy because it's not like I'm learning a bunch of crap that I don't like. This is like, yeah, man. Are you kidding? I get to learn some Lillypillies. Let's go.
I'm feeling a bit of
um,
pressure now to actually come up with something that's good as well. Not let people down and they say, "Oh, it's not as good as the previous one."
oh man, I get that every single time I put a pen to a paper. It's like, oh man, is this actually good? Are people going to think that I've peaked? Am I over the hill? Or is this good? Like I want people to say, yeah, you got to hear the new Mike Hagath album. It's even better than the last one, and I want them to say that every single time I put something out. Because life's a journey, and that's the way to feel like you're moving forward, I think.
But I think ultimately, as long as you're satisfied, I think that's the main thing because music comes in. There's so much music out there, and yeah, people will either like it or not. But ultimately, these are your babies that will be with you forever. You know, and if you're happy with that, regardless of whether people are happy with it or not, I think that's very important because you're going to be listening to those songs as well, like when you're older, and if you're satisfied, it's a good thing.
Yep. Yeah, you know what? You make a good point. Screw all you people. If you don't like the songs that I'm making, then I don't even care, man, because those are my babies. So screw it all. I don't care. That's good.
That's it.
Right on. Yeah, that's it.
I mean,
Well,
here I'm giving advice, but I'm exactly like you as well. So.
we all are, man. We're that's just the struggle, right? Is eh, I think it's almost like an extension of that like imposter syndrome, right? That so many of us have, where it's like, yeah, I've written some good ones in the past, but like I'm nothing even remotely close to like you or anybody else. Like my next one is gonna suck. Like I just that yeah sure that one I wrote was really good, but that I just caught fire in a bottle. That'll never happen again.
I'm like
We
that.
have a way of really talking ourselves, sort of just right out of everything. If we let ourselves do it.
The previous song that we like, the last song that we did which was Addictions, which is the most successful one that we've done, really, because it got the most radio play here in Australia and as well as the YouTube views as well. I thought that that I was kind of just closing my eyes and hoping for the best when I released it, because it came after waiting for Revolution, and I thought this is going to suck and it's just not going to do well at all. And I'm because, as you know, when you're so close to a song and you've spent so much time doing it, you lose perspective of whether it's any good at the not that it's any if it's any good, but whether it's worthy of a single or is it just an album track? Because some songs float around on an album; they're not necessarily a single. So you can't tell. You just got to go with your gut. That's my advice.
Yeah, I think that's like a really good way to look at it. There are going to be some songs that are just naturally better than others, and there's nothing you can do about that. But that doesn't mean that the ones they're better than are bad. It just means like everything has a place, and I've always sort of been oriented to, writing songs based on how I want them to be presented in the album. That's always kind of been my thing. Is I write for that project. So actually, I'm going to go a little off script here for my next one here. And then, we have hit the 2 hour mark, so we'll probably be wrapping this up shortly. But I will play all of you a brand new song that none of you have heard. Even you, Tobias, you have heard the instrumental demo of it, but I will play what the song actually sounds like. This is a really good example of it. So I wrote this specifically as track 7 on the new album, because when I was putting the album sequence together, I realized side B was short by about 1.5 minutes, and I also didn't have a track that really explored how I came to, live on my own between these two relationships that the album sort of starts in one and goes to the other. There was never really like a moment to take a breath and acknowledge, just the work that I put in, and the fact that, for a while when the whole world was locked down and I was locked up in my house with all this stuff to go through, I had to look myself in the mirror every day and try to heal and, try to be a better person and feel better. So I wrote this song as a brief little interlude of capturing that. So I would like to play that one for you guys, if that is cool.
Yes, please. We can't wait to hear it.
All right. Well, and good enough for me. All right. I will have to rip the capo off. So, with the capo coming off, then we'll have to probably do a quick bit of... You know what? Actually, it's sounding better. I think just breaking the guitar in a little bit today has helped quite a bit. So yeah, this song is one of those sort of purpose-built songs for the record, and specifically for that one spot in the record where I needed a brief moment to just breathe and be my own person, looking at myself in the mirror. So this one is called Love Will Light the Way. Loneliness creeping in, pain takes its toll, feeling lost and afraid, with a heavy heart and soul. But healing takes time, love will find a way through the darkest of nights, chase our demons away. The road ahead is long, the journey rough and steep, but we'll find a way together, and we'll smile more than weep. As healing takes time, love will find a way through the darkest of nights, chase our demons away. So hold on to your faith, know that you're not alone. For with each step we take, we'll be closer to home. 'Cause healing takes time. Love will light the way through the darkest of nights. Chase our demons away. Through the darkest of nights, we will all be okay.
That was
And there it
beautiful.
is.
Beautiful
There it
song.
is. You know, a little purpose-built minute and a half. You know, needed something for the record, and realized that I had a little something to say that I had just sort of glossed over while I was so busy focusing on everything else. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Is that acoustic as well on the album, or does it have production on it?
it's nothing but vocals and piano with a little bit of strings
Oh,
and
nice.
a very very faint hit of flute uh, on either side and a little bit of clarinet coming right up the middle.
Oh,
And
can't
then
wait to hear it.
yeah, and then so it's just that one main vocal track, and then on the healing takes time. It's there's like a whole chant that comes in with like 8 different mics that are all around,
Wow.
and then on the in the through the darkest of nights there's a harmony part that comes in very faintly that's through the darkest of nights we will all be okay or something like that. Yeah, it's really really fun putting that one together. I had a blast the afternoon that I did that one.
Fantastic. Can't wait to hear it now. When's the release date?
Oh man, well, I still have some more work to do on the record. So here's the thing, and actually, I'd love to pick your brain on this. Being album oriented guys in the era of streaming and nobody wants to buy music anymore, which is fine. I get it. You pay your Spotify subscription, it's there, have at her. I'm just happy you're listening. What I'm thinking for this next album, though, All the Best and All You Do, I want to do it a little bit differently. So I'm thinking on all the streaming platforms, I'll probably release the full album. The full album will be the 10 songs. Um, and if you buy a CD or an LP or a digital download, you'll get those 10 songs. However, if you buy the CD, the LP, or the digital download, you also get an extra 5 songs that you cannot hear anywhere else, with the exception of maybe one of those 5 that I would release as a standalone just to sort of entice people. Um, but yeah, so if you want to hear those extra songs, you know you have to buy the album. And really, why wouldn't you? Anyway, at that point, because if you're that invested in the material and you love it that much, wouldn't it be nice to hold it in your hands or drop it down on the turntable? Um, I think that's going to be a good way to go. But I'd love to get your thoughts and sort of what's your game plan coming into your next record?
Look, I mean, there are so many strategies. It depends on whatever works for you. For me, as much as I love, holding CDs and vinyls, I just, I'm not a big artist, and I just don't know whether there'd be a market for me. Or, if I sold a handful of them, would it be worth it? So I haven't really gone down that road personally. But again, whatever works for you. What I'm doing at the moment is, when I release a single, I release multiple versions of that song. So, for example, in a couple of days' time, there's a new song coming out, which is "Miles Away from Home." It also comes with a remix of that song, which is the "Miles Away from Home" expat remix, which is a different
Okay.
version. Even with the previous songs, I did the same thing. Like "Waiting for Revolution," there was the main song. There was also the Hetriani version of that song, and there was another version of that song. So the reason why I'm doing that is because, first of all, it gives the song a longer lifespan because they can hear the original version as well as the remix. But also, if that song ends up on the album and you're buying the album, then if whoever's bought the single at least has something else as well. that won't appear on the album. So the remixes won't appear on the original album. So
Oh,
that's been
that's cool.
my strategy, and it's also been fun because I do like to have multiple it's fun to for me to hear a different version of the song, and sometimes they're just stripped down versions, like um, there might be just like a piano version of the full production of the song. So that's been my strategy, and as I said earlier, I think that releasing songs every couple of months and then compiling it onto an album, not to make it like a compilation album, but then when the album gets released, to have extra tracks that people haven't heard of before, kind of gives me the opportunity to be in people's minds every couple of months. If there's a new Lillypillies track, then I don't disappear for a year, really, because it takes about a year to make an album. If you sort of, by the time you do the songwriting and the recording and the everything else, it takes a long time.
Oh, it definitely does, and
So,
that's sort of the rabbit hole that I've fallen down, where I would just go inactive for long periods of time because I was like, well, I don't have anything yet. I'm working on the thing, and so really learning to pace myself and my content a little better is one of the things that I'd like to do this year. Um, it's one of the reasons actually I started doing the live streams again. I mean, I missed the hell out of them. I've been paying StreamYard $30 a month all this year that I haven't been doing them, so it was just stupid. I was throwing money away. Um, but I figure if I'm gonna have StreamYard, I'm gonna do all that. Then I might as well make use of it. And I love coming on here and hanging out with like-minded musicians and in a similar circle as a lot of awesome people who are hanging out here in the comments. Um, who I will highlight your comments now because you guys are awesome, very very awesome. Um, yeah, it's just been super difficult, I think, for me to really pace things in a way that's super meaningful. Um,
and if you were
and
to, for
I've
example,
really
release
gotta.
I was going to say, if you were to release, say, a single from the album, and you wanted to put a multiple version out there of the same song, you could give it to somebody else to remix. Like that's what I've done. Like the last song, Addictions, comes with Alex Backus, is one of the guys in the community who did like a dance remix of the song. I'm not suggesting that you do a dance remix, but Hetriani did a heavier version of Waiting for Revolution, and you just hand it over and say, go for it, do whatever you want with it, and then you can release it as an EP where your song will have two or three other versions, and it's also good to hear somebody else's perspective on how they hear the song, and what they want to do with it as well. And so
For sure,
that's just, I'm just throwing ideas around. I'm not suggesting that you have to do that, but it's good brainstorming to
no,
have as well.
I love that. It's super collaborative too, and that's definitely like a big part of the community, right? Is you want to be able to call on people and work with them and add something to what they're doing, and you'd like it every now and then if they can add something to what you're doing as well. So that's all really really cool. Um, yeah. What do you do in your spare time? I know we're running a little bit over, and that's okay. We'll end very shortly, but I always like to kind of just ask what everybody does for fun,
Spare
besides making
time?
music.
What's that?
Yeah,
That's
I get you have you have three kids, so
Yeah, I
there you go.
do.
You got no spare
I
time.
in my spare time, I run around after them, especially the ones that don't drive. So I'm the Uber driver. That's what I call
Oh yeah.
myself. I'm the chef. I do play tennis. I play in a competition every Tuesday night.
Nice.
Keeps me sane, keeps my mind active, and my body as well. Um, I don't really have a lot of spare time, to be honest.
No, that's cool. I like tennis. I started playing it a couple of years ago with a buddy of mine. You know, there were a few tennis courts and a racket was, you know, $40. I thought, sure, this will be fun. How hard could it possibly be? You're just you know, kind of jog around, hit the ball, run back, whatever. Holy shit, it's hard, man. It's so hard. There's so
Yeah.
much. I was like, oh, cool. Like the first time I returned to serve, I launched it like into orbit. I never realized just, oh yeah, that's a real light ball and a really stringy, like tightly strung racket with a lot of force. It's like, oh, so yeah, I absolutely suck at tennis. But I'll tell you what, if I ever if I ever, when I finally make the trek to the land down under, what do you say we go have a match
Yeah.
and you can absolutely annihilate me.
I'll take you down to the local courts. No, it's crazy. We, you know, as guys, I think it's just ingrained in our DNA. It just gets so competitive when I play with these guys. It gets we everyone gets really fired up, and it's just like, hang on, guys, it's not Wimbledon. Like, you know, it's just enjoy it, but because it's a competition, there's scoring and there's, you know, there's prize at the end of the tournament and stuff. People get really, really competitive. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's pretty unreal. I like golfing with people, but again, you know, they've got to be cool because I suck at golf. And you know, you've got to be very, very patient with me while I rack up 18 strokes a hole. Um, I think Mark Twain said it best. Golf is a walk well ruined, or something like that, or a walk well wasted, something like that. Anyway, I see a few folks in the chat talking about vinyl. Yes, vinyl is absolutely picked up. I saw your vinyl unboxing video. That was super, super awesome.
Yeah, so
Um,
that was a
yeah.
bit self-indulgent. But you know, it was my birthday, and I couldn't think of anything that I wanted. And when I got asked what I wanted for my birthday, and I just said, I want my debut album, to be on vinyl. I have it here actually. I should grab it. I'll show you.
Yeah.
For anyone that hasn't seen it,
Very cool. And as it turns out, I have.
oh wow, same frame as well. Did you get it from Amazon?
Yeah, sure did. Yeah, it was like $70. Oh yeah. Yeah, what a feeling.
Yeah,
I
you
had
got it.
I'd waited my whole life to get on vinyl. I didn't think it was possible. Like just the price point alone, I didn't think I would ever be able to do it. And then I found I, when I was gearing
Bridges
up
is a
to
great
release
album, by the way.
Bridges. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, when I was gearing up to release Bridges, you know, I was kicking the can at a CD order, and I didn't want to, you know, do a big batch and spend $900 on 200 units and, you know, slowly sell them off. I thought, like, wouldn't it be cool if there was just a way to like get them made on demand, basically, like whenever somebody, you know, bought one on my website, you know, I could just have one manufactured right at the factory and shipped directly to them. And that's how I stumbled upon Kanaki. And as soon as I did that, I saw that they made vinyl as well. And they've actually just lowered the price point, so it is super, super affordable now. And it was still decently affordable beforehand. Um, and it was just an absolute game changer. So now I'm, you know, now I always wait until somebody's got an album coming out, and I go, oh my god, you know, if if you want to get it on vinyl, you have to go through Kanaki. Like it's just so brilliant. Like I'll help you mix or like master it or whatever. Just you know, the majority of the time I do it because I just want to be able to add their album to my vinyl collection. Really, is what it is. You know, like I hear somebody coming out with a record that's really really good, and I go, oh, I want that on my turntable right now. Like it's just something so immersive about the experience, right? You know, you slide it carefully out of the sleeve, you pop it down on the table, you set the needle, you read the stuff on the back of the jacket. Oh man, it's a whole thing. Absolutely love it. And I'm so happy that you were able to do that, because that's just the coolest thing, to
Yeah,
see
initially
that.
it was I was just going to do something fake, like I don't know, just frame a picture of the album and put it on the wall. I'm thinking I may as well like just do it properly, and it's going to be something that I'm going to cherish in years to come. So why not?
Yeah, it's a little different than framing like a Springsteen record where you just like printed new labels and slapped them on and went, oh no, that's my album out there. um, no, it's great, because I go through a couple of test pressings for every album before I like finally find the right sound for the commercial vinyl release. So the test pressings, I either give them away on live streams because it's a total one of a kind, or I frame them. And so the one that I've got framed, if you listen to it, it actually doesn't sound all that great. It is the album. It's just EQ'd all wonky and it kind of sucks, but it's a test press. And then, the good sounding one is sitting in my collection right now. And I'm happy about that.
It's awesome. I
Yeah.
mean, we work so hard on these songs that we may as well have something to hold as opposed to just stream. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Tobias is asking, should we give away a smoke? Whoa, that is a cool idea. I'll have to think about that. But if you're down, Tobias, we could absolutely do that on one of the shows. So, speaking of giveaways, so I mean, once we kind of get back into the routine of these, this is obviously kind of the first one back after a year. Going to be doing giveaways on the live streams, or just pick a random viewer, and you basically win whatever the giveaway is. It could be a CD, it could be an LP if I've got one kicking around. Um, so we actually have the ability to send a Tobias Reese, a Tobias H. Reese record out to somebody, which would be super cool. And the reason that we can do that is because I've started a record label, Morning Star Records. And Tobias, of course, is one of the first artists to affiliate with the label. That's still in the very, very early stages. It's being soft launched. But we do have his album on vinyl, and I've got it. Basically, I can ship it out from the factory anytime. So, man, if you want, Tobias, we could absolutely do that. I would, yeah, I would do that if that's something you're down with. That'd be super cool. We might have to get Tobias on one of these streams, and then maybe we could do that. Anyway, all good food for thought, but very, very cool. So we've kind of talked a little bit about everything. Where do we go from here? You've got the new album. You're going back to Italy. You're taping some new
I haven't got the new album
videos.
quite yet, but anyway, it's still a work in
Yeah.
progress.
Well, it's like when I say I've got the new album. It's more I've got it on the go. It's on the
Getting
burner. We're working on it. Yeah, we're cooking. Um, yeah,
new
really,
single
really
out,
exciting.
in a couple of days. So if you haven't rung that bell for the premiere, I hope to see you there.
Yes. So that goes for everybody there. If you have not subscribed to the Lillypillies yet, first of all, seriously, what the hell are you doing? And second of all, go do it, because you're doing yourself a tremendous favor. You really, really are. And this has been a whole lot of fun. Tobias H. Reese in the chat, 15th Bend, Hetriani. Oh, super cool. Just seeing the community turn up. And Manny,
All my
thank you so
friends are here.
much.
Thanks, guys, for turning up. It's really means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on, right on. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And yeah, right on. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Wake up, sub to Manny. Do
Thanks
it.
for.
Yeah. What are we doing here, folks? Come on, let's wake up. Come on, look alive. Um, this is so awesome. So again, Manny, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been a
Thank you,
whole lot of
Mike.
fun. And with your permission, I'll play one last song maybe to send us out on our way.
Of course.
But before we do that, anything else you'd like to add? If not, then what I'll do is I will wish you, I would say a good night, but I suppose a good day. What's it coming up
Lunchtime.
on noon? Yeah, yeah.
Lunchtime here in Australia. Yeah,
Oh, right on. And it's literally tomorrow. It's the 29th over there right now.
sure is.
Um,
In the
Absolutely
future.
unreal. Yeah, yeah. See, now if I ran across the ocean toward you, I would be running to the future.
Good song, good
So
album title.
it is. Yeah, somebody should really do that. Right on. Okay. Well, in that case, before you get the boot, any last words?
No, just thank you very much for the opportunity, Mike. Stay in touch. I know that we sometimes message on socials, so don't be a stranger. And I really, really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, and thanks for everyone that's turned up in the chats. I'm gonna watch this maybe tomorrow or yeah. I want to hear those covers again that you did. They were amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. You've got to go. You've got to go back to the lives from I think last year. I was doing a couple of them, and then if you really want to take the deep dive, go to facebook.com slash Mike Hagath Music, which is where this is being simulcast. And if you go through the videos, you'll find a whole playlist of Lockdown Live, and it's all the original shows from quarantine. And yeah, I think we started doing the share contest around episode 4, and it was pretty fun. It turned into a bit of a mess very quickly in just the best possible way. Yeah.
I'll do that for sure.
Super cool. All right. Well, Manny, thank you so much for joining. And yeah, I can't wait to hear the new song. And for everybody else, the star of the show is leaving, so you guys are free to take off. Or if you'd like to hear me sing one more, well, it's your funeral. How's that?
You play on.
All right, will do. Okay, I'm going to give you the boot. Thanks so much again, man, and we'll
See you,
see you
mate.
around.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Cheers, buddy. All right. Oh, that means I could take these off actually because I no longer have anybody to listen to, I suppose. Okay, cool. So I'm going to play one last one to send us all on our way. I'll give you all another one from the new album. It's one that a lot of you guys probably have heard before if you followed the live streams from last year, or some of my concerts from last year. And if you haven't, well, first of all, what the hell? Second of all, enjoy. This one is called "I've Seen It Before," and this is where we are going to say goodbye for the night. So thank you all so much. I sit in my house, I'll wait by the phone. You dial my number when you're feeling alone. And I know my place, I'll stay in my zone. You'll hang up on me when your boyfriend gets home. Oh yeah. I was pretty angsty. Oh yeah, when I wrote that one. But she did, by the way. Oh yeah, and it's hard now to understand. You leave me standing on the edge of the earth. Oh, you beg me to take your hand, and then you pull away to drive up its worth. Oh, all of these games of supply and demand that you've been playing since a storied rebirth. Don't wanna play no more. love ain't worth a chore. Oh, and I've seen it before. I've seen it before. I'm telling you now, girl, it's not what I planned. To have you holding my heart in the palm of your hand. But I'll tell you something, I think it's the truth. Your looks are fading and so is your youth. Oh man, that's rough. And that's a little mean, isn't it? Your looks are fading and so is your youth. Well, you know what? If you can't be beautiful on the inside, well, I don't know. Either way, let's go. When it's time now to understand, you leave me standing on the edge of the earth. Oh, you beg me to take your hand, and then you pull away to drive up its worth. Oh, all of these games of supply and demand that you've been playing since the storied rebirth. Don't wanna play no more. Your love ain't worth a chore. Oh, and I've seen it before. I've seen it before. I'm screening your numbers, ignoring your calls. You're pitching a fit as you tear at the walls. You scream out you love me, but I know it's false. Wow, that was kind of angsty too, eh? Yeah, you know, this is the thing, is I guess in a lot of ways, you know, I'm kind of like the Taylor Swift of you know, my generation here. I say that being basically the same age as Taylor Swift, in that I read a lot of very angsty and kind of, you know, rude songs about exes. But anyway, let's wind that back a little bit and really just appreciate it for what it is. You know, obviously it's not quite as good as Taylor Swift, being, you know, the fact that she really is the songbird of her generation and all. But rest assured, if that ex ever were to hear this song, even if I were not a happily married man, there would be no doubt about it. We are never, ever, ever getting back together. Like, ever. Screening your number, ignoring your calls. You're pitching a fit as you tear at the walls. Yeah, like I'm so great, right? You scream out you love me, but I know it's false. So go back and live in your house with your dolls. Oh yeah, and it's hard now to understand. You leave me standing on the edge of the end. Oh, you beg me to take your hand, and then you pull away to drive up its worth. Oh, all of these games of supply, demand that you've been playing since the storied rebirth. Don't wanna play no more. Love ain't worth a chore. Oh no, don't wanna play no more. Oh, your love ain't worth a chore. Oh baby, no, I've seen it before. I've seen it before. Oh, I've seen it before. I've seen it before. So let me show you the door. Yeah, there you go. I've seen it before. Cool. No, yeah, I think you guys have heard, 4 out of the 10 on the next album. And that's probably a great way to leave off the show tonight. Yes. Thank you very much. Brilliant melody and lyrics. Never ever. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Just in case. Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. This is why I stick to metaphor, proxy, and third person. Yes. She's gonna hear this and come find you. Not a chance. Not absolutely not a chance. But he will have to move again. No, I didn't move because I'm in witness protection. I moved, luckily, for employment. Hopefully, I'm not in witness protection. If I were, could I tell you? Yeah, I don't know. Everybody seems very happy with that one. Right on. I'm getting the old clappies. Thanks everybody for the clap. That was fun. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you all for joining. That was super awesome. And it's great to be back. Went a little bit over time. I wasn't quite sure how the timing was going to work out this time around. But again, as we do more and more of these and hopefully stick with them this time, we will we'll be able to fully iron out the entire broadcast. So for now, thank you all so much. And again, if you are watching this on Facebook, or if you go find this on Facebook afterward and share it, and your share gets the most engagement, you will be able to mandate a song that I have to play, no exceptions, on the next show. I guess if you shared it on YouTube or Discord, I guess we could count those as well. You'll just have to send a screenshot of how many likes or views that video got or post. And just email that to contact@mikehagath.com. You have a couple of days to do that before we pick our winning share. How's that sound? And I really, really do appreciate all of it so much. So yeah, big thanks to Manny. Lillypillies, amazing. I am going to go and eat some cereal and nurse this nasty sunburn I picked up in Cancun the other day. And I will see you all again next month for the next one. And hopefully before that with the resumption of Mike's Spin, where we do album reviews. How cool would that be? Come on, folks. We might as well just go full throttle with it. And hopefully, as time goes on, we'll get a little bit more settled and things will be a little less temporary than they are right now. Thank you so much, and have a great night, everybody. And if you're not subscribed to the Lillypillies, go do that. And if you're not subscribed to me, I don't know how you found this, but please be sure to hit that red button before you run off. Thank you again, and y'all have a good night. Thank you very much. All right.